Okay, we've got 3 minutes by my Mickey, 2 by that one, we'll go by that one. So we start officially in 2 minutes.
So Jackie's starting with us now, that's nice.
Just for tonight, because Rick is sick.
Just for tonight, that's all he's got.
Or until he gets back. Is you ready, you're recording everything as far as?
I'm keeping my own notes, I'm not keeping notes for the clerk's office. If you
Okay,
feel the need to record any, feel free.
good.
But you don't have to record everything I say.
Okay.
Tom, there isn't enough ink in a pen.
I'll give you my recording, not a problem. Yeah.
Mike, did you get any reply back about a meeting? We have one tomorrow, right?
Yep.
What, 4:30 or something, or 4 o'clock?
I'll have to look afterwards.
We got one at 4:30.
Yeah.
And then, did we get anything from Highway yet?
That's the one that I haven't heard back from.
Okay, the clock on the wall's pretty close to 7. Now formally call this work session for January 12, 2015 to order at 7 p.m. Noted everyone present with the exception of Town Clerk Ricky Collins. Jackie Blue, our Deputy Clerk, is sitting in for him this evening. We have a few items on the agenda, but I want to go right to Dave Duquette, our Dog Control Officer, who's here. I've asked Dave to come in. Dave was very interested in coming in. We've been working for some time. You have a draft resolution. I'm noticing we don't say draft across it. We're trying to remember to do that. A draft resolution for an optional 3-year dog license. We've been talking about this for a while. There are some benefits for that. You'll notice there are fees that go to the state in the resolve, the first resolve. I mirrored the 2 items in the first whereas, which are the fees that I believe we charge with the terms, conditions under which they're charged. I lift that from the law if I did it correctly. And I put the same on the bottom that would have the proposed 3-year rates. In italics at the end of each, you'll see the New York State surcharge for the spayed dogs at $1 and the fees for the unspayed at $3. That's the same as they are current. The reason for that was that I wasn't aware at the time of the draft how those fees would be impacted. It seemed logical. If the state gets $1 for a year, they're going to get $3 for 3 years. But we were pursuing that. In the final resolution, obviously, those would be amended. Dave has done some research. He shared some things with me, Ag and Market. Ricky had done some as well. And I think our counselor got some information. So, Dave, any thoughts, comments on what we're proposing to do?
I think it's good for the taxpayers, it gives the taxpayers a break. Also, it's good for Ricky, cuts back the paperwork in the office. And also, say if somebody gets valid for 3 years, they can come back in. And there may be an issue with me going to their house, give them a warning, or even a ticket because they're not responding or not a license. So it's a 3-year license. They have 3 years. And also, it's not good for the first year because rabies shot, when your dog first gets rabies, the first rabies shot, that's only good for 1 year. It'd be for the shot after. So, for the shots after that, because that's a 3-year shot. So, your first, when you get a puppy, you get your first shot is only good for the first year. So actually be for an adult dog, not a puppy.
One of the things I noted in the first resolve to try and underscore what David is saying is, one, that it's a non-refundable. You'll notice it's an option to purchase, and it's noted as a license for dog owners who have proof of a 3-year certificate of rabies. Ricky was kind of concerned we might get someone who got the 3-year shot, and in year 2, they come in and say, gee, I think I'll get that 3-year license. Well, you can't,
That's what I wanted
because
to-
you can't, because you only have 2 years left on your rabies vaccination.
How about if I just get 2-year?
We don't have a 2-year option.
Well, supposing that we just took the $13 or the $7 or $15 and just double it and pay it 2.
We don't have that option right now. I mean, that's something I suppose we could entertain. I think it might put our clerk in
Yeah,
some
that's more-
interplanetary order. The other thing you've got, and you should address really, software that you have to enter this into, that it's got to be able to be accepted by the software.
Right, right, and you choose, it's 1 year, 3 years usually on the.
Well, I just lose out then, because I just did it, and I can't do it next year, and we got a 3-year rabies. So I think we should go with 2 years.
Well, you can't. You can't always do everything you want to do.
My dog will be too old after that to get a 3-year.
That's what I'm banking on a little bit.
And this is an option too, this is not, we're not making people do it. They can, if they wanna get, if you wanna get a 1-year license, you can get a 1-year license, it's up to you, I mean, this is an option to give them people if they wanna get a 3-year license, again. That's, it's gonna give them, save them time in the office also, it's gonna, give the taxpayers a break, $10.
Savings on the mailings.
Yeah.
On the renewals.
Yeah, I think it's also a good thing in the sense that, people often forget the things that they have to do that are just kind of stuck off, and I know that you do your mailings and stuff like that, but, a once and done may work very well for people as the reminder, and tying it in as an optional opportunity for folks, into something such as this, I think is very admirable. I think, we'll see where it goes. We give people the opportunity, we're giving people the opportunity to pay their utilities, certain utilities and stuff online. Is everybody using it? Certainly not. But for the folks that want to utilize it, it's a service that they're very happy to do, so.
I wish Ricky was here. Does he send out emails as well? Does he
No.
do that at all? That would be,
Email reminders?
yeah,
No.
that would be a good idea.
Do we have that database for dog owners?
There's
Yes.
gotta be that option.
Do you know how many licenses we issue
How many
in your review?
licenses?
How many dogs do we have licensed in the town of
I
Plattsburgh?
don't know
It's,
them.
last time it was 1,200 and something.
So that'd be about 1,200 individual emails going out in some cycle,
Well, yeah, if
Which
you're
with the
sending out
3-year would be
1,200
less
We're
than
sending
that.
out 1,200 pieces of mail.
pieces of mail, yeah, which are expensive.
Yeah.
Do we know how many of those pieces come back as undeliverable? I would guess some
Oh,
do.
yes, some, but not
Not
a
many.
good percent.
The only thing about that is that if I do have a court case and I have to go to court for not licensing dogs, it shows that we sent something out. And then with an email, if they don't, they can say I didn't get the email, I can say I didn't get the mail either, but, I use that as an option too, so. But if I go to court, I say, listen, I sent first notice out, this is the first notice I sent out, and the second notice I sent out, I went to their house, talked to them, and I told them you got notices, and then the final thing, they get a
What's your response rate after first, second, et cetera? I mean, could you
Oh.
reduce and do a, the first one is through an email to cut down on mailing cost,
We can look into that.
and then if there's a high enough response rate, to then have to go into a paper? I mean, you don't do certified mail on any of them?
Yes, sometimes we do it in like the last, I have done certified in the past, you know what I mean?
Okay, so,
If I go to their house, knock on the door, and I've been there 3 times, they don't answer the door because they know who I am.
right.
I just said something certified, then I got them, you know what I mean? They accepted it. But the only thing is that if you do your license, then you'd have to add something on the license application itself, or you have to ask them for their email.
It's on there.
Is it on there? Okay.
Mhm.
So you
Is
put
that-
it, so when you put it in the screen, there's an option on there for their email?
So that's in the computer?
Yes,
Is that a BAS
Yes.
piece? We should see if they can export those addresses as a field. Would make sending the email pretty simple. Can actually set that up as they're due and maybe.
It's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, that might have some room there.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about the challenge of, it's a nice idea, but if in reality, nobody's gonna do it, or it can't be done. But boy, if the software would allow that.
well, we should probably explore the option of
Storage option.
paying dog licenses online. yeah.
Because if they get an email, they could just click the link and pay it right
Yep.
down there.
That's the goal of mine too, is have them pay $1,000 online. that'd be a good option, you know.
Yeah, it is, and it's really popular now.
Yeah.
Would what you have set up work in the clerk's office to take funds for a dog license?
Yes,
And the software will allow you to market pay that way?
yes.
How would you go about certifying rabies?
Good question.
Yeah.
You could have the vet or the health department scan it in, fax it.
Boy,
Or they could scan it, I suppose.
Yeah.
They could scan
They
it.
must have an electronic database.
Well, it all depends where they do it at, because like if you do it like at,
Firehouse Clinic.
yeah, or
But that's the health department.
like Palmer's, you know what I mean? So is Palmer's gonna get on board with us to do it? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say, why should we, is it that gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if that's gonna say, well,
Because it's more work for them.
you know what I'm saying? It's a good idea, but I never thought of the radio option of it, because we had to show they have the radio, unless we have some kind of,
Well, maybe it's built into the program that they can't renew if it's not up to date. It's a possibility. I mean, we haven't explored that with BAS. I don't know how the program's designed. Maybe.
I mean,
every rabies shot has their own
identification.
identification to it, so I don't know if that database can take that, and it's in a database, it's in a, that shows on there, it's up to date, I'm not sure, I have to do some research on it.
I definitely think it'd be worthwhile.
Yeah.
I agree with Meg, if we can do more of this stuff online.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'll leave it
You just
for
gotta
the health
figure out-
department.
Yeah. So the health department, does their own vaccination, and you have the vets do their own vaccinations, you know, I mean, their own set of, I'm not sure how it works or whatever.
But really, you just have to put in a date.
You have to know the date. The health department charges $10 though. If you lose your certificate, and you need another one to bring to your court, they charge $10.
But again, if I'm the dog owner and I want to do that and I have all that, I'm either going to have to scan and send the document to you so you can verify it, or come in with my certificate of vaccination and pay then with my credit card, write a check or whatever. You know, if they were to electronically send it to us as an attachment, is there any reason why we can't take that, same as if they bring it?
I wouldn't.
It's a difference.
I think so.
I mean, a lot of people have printers with scanners, and
Yeah.
smartphones, doesn't matter.
How does it work with the 3-year thing? I mean, you get your rabies whenever you get an appointment. The dog license doesn't come due necessarily at the same day or the same time. So is this like a 3-year dog can be extended for a few months or something, or how does that work? When they're trying to do a 3-year thing and their rabies isn't going to match up exactly.
Well, it's like Dave said, though, with your first vaccination, you're not eligible to get a 3-year.
Well, that one's okay. But
The
I'm talking
second
about
one, you
the-
have to come in and get it when you get the vaccination. If you come in year 2, you're gonna have to wait 2 more years. Because we don't have it temporary.
Let's just say you came in and we started 3-year now, and this 3-year, they've got a 3-year.
Well, when your license comes up.
But
for
they don't
renewal-
have their, well, they got a current one, and it's due in another month or 2, and they get it then, or they just got it 2-3 months ago. How does that work? Because say they got it in November, okay, we're given a 3-year license, are they gonna be able to get a 3-year license if they start? And it's 3 year, that's 3 years and 3 months.
If it's in within a month or a couple months, I think it's a good policy of the town to tell them, listen, hey, it's a month out, can I wait a month? I think it's good policy of the town to say, yeah, it's okay. And if they come to me and tell me that, explain to me their option, I'm not gonna say, no, you're doing it. I'm gonna say, yeah, all right, wait a month and then get your dog license.
Get the vaccination a month early.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Or whatever, I mean, but,
It's not exactly, anytime you use a vet or anything else, you can't make an appointment necessarily that day.
It's pretty quick, though, it's not like.
At least I haven't been able to, but maybe you can.
Not like open heart.
so basically, this is for when you
Oh,
get the first year, is the first year vaccination, you'll be qualified for it. And then
But the bottom line, it isn't going to work for all people all the time. It's an option.
It might work for a few people, I don't see it's gonna work for everyone. Not with having to balance that exactly when you, for your vaccination.
Yeah, you got your ducks in a row, you're like
They'll get it lined up.
I think so. If they want it, if they don't want to line it up, then they don't get it. Pay every year. The same thing, if I had a 16, 17-year-old dog, I'm not interested in 3 license. It's the way it is. It's just an option, is all it is. We're not forcing anybody to do anything. Jim, you got some information. Does that sound correct to you about the charges? They're just 3 times as much as the 1 year?
Well, the information I got wasn't exactly that. I talked to Dave. Dave said he had the answer to that, so.
What does that know?
I mean, we're talking probably $10 a year, but anyways. If, for the 3-year period, do we have to pay the state $1 each year?
Yeah. I did research, man, that goes towards, a fund, which I'm not sure is for.
Well, it's one of those funds that they
Just
put
be
into
thankful
it
it's
once.
only $1.
Yeah.
Come on.
I kind of like, where's this?
Believe me.
where's
I think it's for the Tapestry Bridge.
I was like, where's this?
Starving children in Africa.
I got crickets on the phone. What's the date?
Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions, comments, concerns, anything with David, with the resolution? Given the conversation, I will amend that.
I do want to know, Jack, you said that you have all the ability to do this, and it's not, how much more work is that now, trying to keep balance between 1 and 3?
It's not any more work.
It's a click of a mouse.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
I mean, this is a little bit outside just the conversation about dog licenses, Tom, but I think that we really need to systemize anything that we can to communicate more efficiently with the residents of the town, and certainly not everybody, for example, has the internet, but many more people are doing online banking, you know, and things of that nature. So to provide that service to them by itself, you know, it takes a little time to maybe create that information, to, you know, to put it in and, you know, to click the mouse and stuff like that. But those people are probably going to be pretty appreciative that as you're getting your monthly statements and stuff like, oh yeah, it's my dog
Use
license.
the mouse, you can't just blink your eye.
Not quite yet.
Get those new Apple computer glasses. Any other discussion on the optional 3-year dog license? Then it will be part of our agenda for the following Monday. Dave, any other thoughts, comments before you leave? You're welcome to stay, and you're welcome to
He
leave.
wants to
It was
stay.
a good report,
Quite
an interesting year.
Football game doesn't begin at 8:30.
Okay, I wanted to respect Dave's time a little bit. We have some folks who have signed in. Nobody indicated they wanted to talk this evening, address the board, so if not, we'll just keep moving along.
Hi, Dave.
Have a night.
See you, Dave, thanks.
Dave.
Before I go back to the regularly scheduled agenda, I want to share a document with you. This is a project your deputy town historian has worked on. It is a compilation of a couple of years of her efforts to identify the soldiers who fought in the Civil War from the town or the village of Plattsburgh. Remember, this was before there was a city. It was all one big happy unit. This includes soldiers from surrounding towns if they signed up in the town of Plattsburgh. She went to the extent of gathering information that wasn't previously available, that was published in military records and whatnot. There are about 2,400 soldiers she followed. It's a genealogy study, has a lot of important documentation. I'll just start for the sake of process with Jackie. We can move it around. She did this voluntarily, of course, these last 2 years. It's a pretty massive undertaking. She discovered certain Civil War soldiers who were otherwise listed as AWOL, missing in action, but they had actually re-upped with another unit, and there was no way to cross-reference these things before. The county was putting together a similar, only similar, document, and asked us to submit information, which we did. When she submitted what she had done, they basically sent it back, because our submission was going to be bigger than their book, I think. And obviously she couldn't see her work and the depth that she had gone to. A lot of people are interested in this kind of work. Also remember, one of the things we promote in our community, within the our master plan, the destination master plan, et cetera, is tourism, and tourism that's driven by history. And this is no small document. We've produced one that will go to each municipal historian, as well as to the county historian, and of course, our historian will have a couple of these, but I'll tell you, and this is also on our town website, so anybody can electronically search, go in, find what they want. We're so fortunate with the historians in the town and what they're willing to do, how hard they work, because they love the topic. It's great.
Like, my understanding is that when she started, the number that was being bandied about to represent the number of Civil War soldiers from the town of Plattsburgh was in the neighborhood of less than 400. And she's ended up with 2,500.
The town played a measurable role in the contribution of soldiers in that event.
It was quite an evolution leading up to this area.
Yeah.
And it stretched across the border, so there was quite a bit of activity.
A lot of
And
activity.
a lot of people were of that persuasion.
A lot of passion. So anyway, that's what that is. It wasn't on there, but I wanted to make sure and share that before we went any farther. Anyone, of course, who's interested, as I said, it's online. If you want to borrow a copy, you certainly could. And on behalf of the town of Plattsburgh, as I said, these are out there about the county. It's an exemplary document. Working the agenda a bit now.
Did you say that there was copies sent to the different libraries or just to the?
The library as well as the historian in each municipality. Some have been distributed, some have not. I've got some to get to some of the supervisors for their historians and so on. We're in distribution right now.
SUNY Plattsburgh or Community College?
I'm not aware of either of them being on the distribution list.
Wouldn't that
I'll
be
double check
something
that.
that should go into collections?
Both of the colleges should have a special collections.
They do have special collections, so wouldn't that be something that could go into special collections? I think it should, personally.
It's not a bad suggestion. I'll have to check the list for distribution. I mean, they could be there and I'm just not aware of it.
Definitely think it should at least go in Plattsburgh State's special collection.
So we will find out. The next item on the agenda is union amendments.
Do you have any other copies except the first page?
You should have more than a first page.
Is there, how many pages?
There's a couple pages to the document.
Yeah, I got one.
Everybody else have one or two?
We should have bound.
I mean, sometimes the copier eats, does everybody have 2 pages of that? Others? No?
I have the letter of understanding, but I don't have the draft.
Is the second page?
The draft resolution just got done this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So you should only have the letter of understanding.
Here.
What do you do, take it all apart?
I take that apart, yeah, because I can't, I like to have them, here's my reports, here's my, yeah, this way.
Okay, I've got extra copies that has both pages of the MOU.
Okay, so I read this and then, at where it's now thereafter, they agree, and then all I got was, number 1 there.
That's what's there.
There's another page.
I just showed it, I just gave it.
Okay, we can get a copy made if you want one now, Tom. I can send one to you, give one to you, whatever you want. The draft resolution just got produced this afternoon, so nobody has it. Now everybody has. Jackie has. Just a little bit of history with this. I think the letter and the resolution, if you read through it, are probably self-explanatory. When we settled with the union, we settled again an agreement that has the job rate that was negotiated. You recall we got rid of steps, which was very advantageous for the town, and a job rate was created, something the union employees were very interested in to get to their top job rate at the end of 3 years. But it is a ceiling for each title. As a result of things that took place last year, eliminated positions, bumping, and that whole scenario, we ended up with 3 people who went into a position where their title, their job rate exceeded the top step in that title. I think one of them might have also been impacted as a result of a new person coming in, and everybody got bumped $1, and that put that top person $1 higher. Rachel looked at this, we met with the union business agent, and as a result of all that, the agreement side letter was created. The side letter, as you'll see, side letter of understanding is unique to those 3 people. During the period that we have a job rate in place, and they may have salaries that exceeded that top job rate, it indicates that it is not intended to be precedent setting or transferable in any form, shape, or manner. We really don't have too many options. It's just the way it is. It's not any significant amount of money. I don't recall offhand what exactly it is, but the bottom line is they're over that top job rate for that title. So we have to have this side agreement.
Jim, is this, you check this, isn't, if you go to arbitrations, come back, that you didn't, you losing in this, if other employees can ask for it?
Oh, I think that Bernie said that it's non-precedent setting, does not establish any practice or precedent by and between the parties. Was that your question, whether somebody else in another department could say you've done it before and therefore I should benefit?
Well, yes, and then an arbitrator comes in and says, well, yes, you have given us more than the top job.
But I think we've agreed that it wouldn't be precedent setting, and that it wouldn't establish any practice by and between the parties. So I think that would, I understand your concern, but I think this addresses that concern.
So the arbitrator would be looking at that and saying that,
Yeah, well, most times when you agree, if you're saying we agree this won't be a precedent, or you could agree to the contrary, that it would be a precedent, and then all future agreements would follow it. I think we're stating explicitly that this is just kind of a one-shot deal, that it is not going to impact people in the future.
okay.
So this would be in the agenda. Any other questions, concerns? Housekeeping as much as anything. I want to do a stored tech update. I have nothing to distribute other than last week we had a representative who is the individual who works, Jessica Smith, who works out of the stored tech office in Plattsburgh, came up. She spent 3 days getting to know people, getting to know the system, really troubleshooting a number of questions and issues and problems that people had, and she did it quite successfully. We also had the president of the company was here, spent some time with us, went to the various departments. We had a very smooth transition with the access to the servers. We now have all of our computers patched into their ability for remote monitoring. They have a great deal of knowledge. We were quite impressed with Jessica, who humbly reminded us she was a level 1 tech. They have level 3 techs that far exceed her. But she has access to approximately 20 people to resolve the issues. Beyond all that, I was impressed, I think everyone here was, with the character, the personality, the integrity, the professionalism, the courtesy. I think we've got a good partner. I was a little frustrated that what took place last week didn't begin prior to the end of the year. I let them know. I let the president, reminded the president they had a 1-year contract. I complimented them and let them know I was at ease again. But as far as I was concerned, there was a gap because we should have acted on it sooner. They're good. They're people we can work with. They have a ticket system that if you have any problems, you can email, you can call. And there's a third way, I'll be danged if I can remember what it is right now. There were three
I called them
three
today because I had a
methods.
problem in the clerk's office.
And as soon as you call, it creates a ticket, and the ticket now becomes accessible to any of their team. And they want that, because if some lower level tech can't resolve it, everybody's on board, they know it's been tried, it continues.
Did they help you?
Jessica couldn't do it, but she found somebody that could, and the next level up. And
So-
within minutes, yes, it was done.
Done.
They
The
said
oth-
they'd send as many as they could right away.
They did. We were offline, or the server was down, or whatever. I'm not sure, but I couldn't do any business, and they got me up and running in no time.
As you know, we've had a lot of issues with Harris. Harris has caused us heartburn during audits because certain reports can't be produced. They very comfortably have said, let us talk with Harris. Many times, if a tech talks with a tech, the communication is quite. So just a lot of real positive things. Now, the other thing I've made them aware of and made staff aware, we have to be careful that they aren't too quickly used, too casually used, aren't used in place of try and resolve it yourself. We're monitoring if it's, the second, the third, I don't know how many times somebody's had the same problem, same question, we need another kind of intervention, because we want to control those things. So, good experience. I feel very good about the start, and I feel quite good about the company that I think they'll get a contract after this year. But today's only the 12th, we'll see. So, good decision. Thoughts, questions, concerns? Non-union negotiations, I don't have much to say about that. I just wanted to report to you, so you knew I was conscious of it. There have been some conversations between Dr. Rossetto and the non-union employees. I think to some extent there are some things they're interested in. There are some proposals that have merit. Some of the message now is, if you're going to go that direction, let's take our time, let's draft these things such that they're going to be effective. So we'll see. Like I said before, I'm out of it at this point. I'm monitoring it. Something's taking place, and I'm sure we'll continue to have updates. Okay? Going down to number 5, Association of Towns Voting Delegate, Mr. Wood. You've indicated that you will be going to the meeting this year?
Yes, I told the others, and I see that no one was going.
There's your stuff. That's the only copy. I just want to make you aware of that. We have to have by resolution a delegate to represent the town. Tom has in his packet notice of the annual meeting of delegates wherein they will take some action on
There's a lot of amendments.
organizational items for the association.
They usually have 2 or 3. This is,
There's usually a few.
I may have to ask a lot of questions down there.
You're the perfect one.
You're the man to do that.
God bless them. And I'm not warning them. Had I shared with you a draft resolution on that? Okay.
Yeah, you should.
You did.
All right, so you've got that, we know what that's about. We should have an alternate. I'm not sure we're in a good position to have an alternate. We really couldn't use the judges, we can't use the court clerks, and I don't know if we should use CJ, I guess we could. We have a very, very, very small group going to the meeting. Tom, do you have any? Oh, Ricky, that's right, I thought Ricky could go, he's an elected official. We could make Ricky an alternate, I haven't had a chance to talk to him about that. I don't know who else we could do, or have no alternate.
Not likely that I'm going to insist to ask all these questions. Not likely.
You're right.
I wouldn't expect it. It would be wise for us, in spite of Councilor Wood's determination, to have an alternate as they request. And I hadn't done that as of the drafting, but I think it would be wise to put Mr. Collins' name down as an alternate, just in case. Anybody have any concerns with that? We should. Not trying to wish ill on you, Tom.
Well, I could get sick, you never know. Maybe I'll run off down there, who knows, you know, maybe I won't be around, right? You just can't tell.
I'm not even going to name it. So that will be amended to include an alternate.
Run off with that for teacher.
The next item is amending the Board of Ethics local law. I'm glad to see Gerard's here, something he worked a great deal on. I don't know if I have a draft on that one. I don't think we've done it. I don't think you have a draft resolution or...
I didn't know.
Debbie
See one
says
for
not,
that.
so it can't be.
Wasn't one online, let's put it that way.
Well, things get done in the 11th hour here
That's
regularly.
true, but there wasn't one online.
So we need to do one. This, I think, is ready to go, and I think you do have what was recommended as the amendment. I know, Jim, you spent some time on that. I could have sworn I had that. Just bear with me a second.
I think that when it was rewritten,
The modification I worked on with Mr. Renadette, and I believe I emailed it to everybody except Mr. Cashman, and Mr. Bassett said he would supply Mr. Cashman.
That was
When
done.
did you know?
Oh, a week ago.
yeah, I get that. The difference is that we're not going to be, we're gonna allow people who put a sign out to be able to,
I don't think we got into it that, we just made some adjustments to one paragraph.
You took off the member from the board.
And I think it said no, yeah, they couldn't be one.
so. Which is probably better than what the state said, that we should have one.
Well, I think there, you could have some discussion about that. There's some rationale why the state said that. As I looked back through some documentation, they, most things that I saw talked about not more than, not to have a majority on your Board of Ethics from the town. Which again implied that you should have a member from the board on the Board of Ethics.
But I think we decided not to do
We
that.
decided not to.
Yeah, and I'd like to speak to that because I spoke to that many years ago when we first had a Board of Ethics. And we had the town attorney on the Board of Ethics, and I thought that was, it was.
That wasn't me at this point.
No, it wasn't, it was not our current town attorney, but I thought it was right for error, because if someone was bringing an issue before the town, it would seem to me that, you know, the town attorney would be taking two bites of the apple on the issue, so I was fairly vocal about being opposed to that, and I felt that we needed a citizen board, and we didn't need representation from the town.
Well, I think it's
And
great progress that we already made,
Pardon?
great progress that we already made getting one, and having it active. Getting the whole Board of Ethics going again.
Oh, there's no question, and I give Gary credit, great praise for having stuck to his guns and getting that done. And there was a lot of work there, and he got it reactivated.
Because that's been certain.
I will get that recommendation for the change in language to everybody.
Did you get it, Marty?
Yeah.
And you got it.
I think it was, we were discussing, and I brought up all the things about the person being on it in the town, and you couldn't be on it if you came to anything, but you couldn't be on it if you had a sign in your yard, whatever, and that was changed, so I was okay with it after that.
We've discussed this a couple of times. I don't have a draft resolution at this point. I will plan to have one together for Monday.
Okay, if we're gonna pass it, we'll have, first everybody's gotta have it in their mailbox and that type of thing.
Well, that was my other question. We're making an amendment to the law by resolution?
Well, I think I don't know that you can do that, I'm not sure you can. I think the simplest thing, I don't know if it's the simplest thing, but maybe the correct thing to do is to rescind the old one and pass a new one.
A new law, I agree. That makes, I was a little uncomfortable with the idea we were going to amend a law by
I don't,
resolution.
yeah, maybe if the law originally provided for that, but I know sometimes when you do it, you can provide, you can change fees by including that in the local law, but in this one, we do it that way, so, and I'll send it out to everybody, and,
You'll send the new law, which would be number 1 for 2015. I'll work with Jim on this, we'll make sure everybody gets it in the appropriate amount of time. It may not be on the agenda for
Is
Monday.
that- and I'm-
That's gotta go out
Yeah,
for a certain number of days. and
that's
we
right.
have-
Yeah.
Public hearing.
Mhm. There's a process.
and will only be here 2 more days this week, so.
So
we'll-
we're gonna meet in April?
We'll look at this again at the next work
Oh,
session.
we got time.
There's plenty of time. Plenty of time. Okay, we're almost there. One more time around with that. The next item that I put in when we did this is a reminder that on the 20th, we're going to do the board photo shoot at 6:15. I've spoken with Dick Rogowski. I think I might have shared that. Dick has said he'll come out and take care of that for us.
We gotta bring at least 5 or 6 outfits, you know, we go in different places, we go outside and pose, we go, you know, we just do a lot of different.
Marty
poses.
can't bring the sweater, so that's it.
Where's plaid pants?
Have you ever
No,
seen
we
a
gotta
picture that
airbrush
was different?
The next item I have is a number 8. It's not on there, just an infomercial, if you will. Friday, I attended a strategic tourism planning committee meeting. This is a committee I've been on since day one. This is sort of a post-fishing tournament issue, result of the institution of a bed tax, the occupancy tax. This committee is primarily composed of business owners and managers throughout the county. I'm the token politician, but I represent all the other towns in the county. And we review the use of these funds, the marketing plans, the budget, et cetera, advise and get to steer the rudder a little bit. It's also a great clearinghouse where we get a lot of information. Wanted to share a couple things. The meeting prior, I had asked about the analytics from the website. You all know about the Adirondack Coast and all that going around there. That I really think it's important that we have some data. How things feel, how they look, what I think is nice, but give me the numbers. So they did go back and were able to grab some numbers from 2013 and 2014. So it's only 2 years. But we could look at 13 and 14, and now we've got a base. At the end of 15, we can say, okay, where are these numbers, where are they going? What do they tell us? And a couple things I wanted to share from this website that is used to promote tourism. That, again, we can talk about it, but I'd rather do one-on-one because everybody probably knows the value of tourism. If you don't want a one-on-one, we can do it. Between 2013 and 2015, the number of online sessions to learn about us, what's going on, what to do, where to go, went up roughly 25%. Number of first-time visitors between 2013 and 2015, up 83%. That's huge. The average session, time on session is up. The visitors, guess what home country they're from? You know, of course, Canada. But those numbers are up over the 2-year period by over 32%. In 2014, more than 45,000 hits from Canada about our Go Adirondack site.
Did you say 45,000?
Over 45,000, 45,867. Of course, next is the United States, and that number is up. The important thing, the percentages are up. People are going there. The marketing is working. They're coming, why do you think we're building a new hotel, more restaurants, more retail, more jobs, more things happening in the economy? I asked, well, what comes after the United States? And, you know, I thought it was a good question. It's a small number, so you don't know if it's statistically a benchmark, but England and France were the two next hits. And the thing that I think is important now is there's something evolving there, something we should know. Let's see if those numbers keep going up as well. Remember, when we get the new international airport built out, how will that drive some of these numbers? Or will it? Maybe it won't. One of the other things I thought interesting is where are people going on this site? The number one place they're going is to the parts of the site that address things to do and family attractions. Short in this list is parks and beach. Our parks are driving the economy, as we know, right?
Is there a link to the Town of Plattsburgh Rec Department website on theirs?
Offhand, I don't know. You know, there might be. I just offhand don't know. I know we link to them. So we're putting that network in place, but, and that's a good question. I don't know if specifically we're there. I think we are, as is the city, because to get into some of the detail, you gotta come into our community. They look heavily at travel tools, they look heavily at lodging, which is what we would expect, but the new destination on the website that had never been there before was the wineries. Our Adirondack Wine Trail. I found that interesting. And again, show me some numbers. Let's see what happens with that next year, the year after, etc. The demographics from the fans, that people that link on as fans, we've got over 4,000 in 2014, up from just 1,400 in the year before. Women are 66% of the hits than men. They're doing the planning, I guess. But the age bracket is what caught me. The age bracket is between 25 and 44. You think about that. We've got a younger group looking to come here. Well, what other things going on? What have we been promoting? And we talk about the baby boom, the senior aging population and so on, which is a reality. But we're starting to get a lot of attention from a younger group of travelers. And you know, as we think about programs in our rec department, who are we targeting? If we want them to come, to stay, spend a long weekend, wine and dine, and of course go shop. I thought that was quite interesting. So anyway, there's just a lot of stuff. We've got another retreat coming up that I will participate in with Bob Harvey. Bob Harvey, we started working with a couple of years ago as a consultant, produced a destination master plan. We've responded to these things. We had a little talk earlier about training. I always say knowledge is power and ignorance is awful costly. What do you get out of these sessions, but even more importantly, what happens after? You know, do you go to New York, go to a workshop, go to a meeting and come back and do what you usually do or not? Our next work session, I'm getting excited about, is going to be a little different than we've done in the past. It's going to be a little bit of a seminar in some ways for all of us. And it's evolving. I spent a little time on that today, how to package it. But as of now, our next work session on the 26th, there'll be very, very little on there for me. Because we're going to have Paul Grosso come to talk to the board about the Development Corporation, what it is, what it isn't, what they do, what their mission is. And you know, in general, they're bringing business in, really big business, corporate business, industrial business, manufacturing into the community. Well, a lot of it ends up in the town, doesn't it? That could be interesting. Then we're going to have Mel and Kim Crockett from the county are going to share with us the county-wide survey that for the most part was a city-town survey about recreation programs. What do people want to see? we participated in that with the county, and the survey was done last year. I found it interesting that Friday's demographics on the Go Adirondack hit started telling me about what people are looking for when they come here. Is there a match or a mismatch? How are we making decisions? They're going to go through that document with you. It's rather lengthy. And with an eye on what have we done, what are we doing, what is our focus? Recreation, as we've talked many times, is not the old kickball and swing set and playground anymore. And it can be a big moneymaker. Following that, the triple header, tentatively planned, will be another presentation from Trevor Cole. Trevor has done an outstanding job to look at our master plan that was done a few years ago, and a really progressive, vibrant municipality is constantly working on their master plan because things change and targets move and you have to always have new goals, right? We need to revisit that, but Trevor thought it would be valuable, and God knows it was, to look at the plan we did with the recommendations. Remember, we had a great committee, some of you were on it. We went out to the community, did outreach, we heard from the people came in, et cetera, and they did a document. The document's important. If you don't have a document that's focused and current, you don't even want to apply for grants, forget it. Because you're not in the ballpark, you're just a bunch of dreamers and wishers, you're not actually doing your part. Trevor will go through with us the results of where we are roughly 5 years later. What did we do, what did we not do? I think you're going to find it quite interesting. Then if you take the big economic driving picture that Mr. Grasso and the Development Corporation are going to somewhat introduce us to, the spoke of the recreation, what have we done, and then go back to the town-wide master plan and a few of these other things, I think you'll find it interesting. In my mind, I see it a bit seminarish because for all of us, as we make decisions about what's important, Mr. Coffey and I often talk about, do you want to spend, you're going to spend 30 minutes talking about a $1 fee on a dog license rather than talk about the millions of dollars in infrastructure that's decaying underneath our feet. He's absolutely right. So all of that together will begin to frame up where are we going, what are we doing, what are we prioritizing, what are the big ideas that we need to be putting in place. I think it's going to be interesting. We've never done that. And it's coming together.
No, that's on
So you
Tuesday.
don't want to miss that.
That's on a Tuesday.
That'll be Tuesday the 20th is the next work session, right. I'm glad you mentioned that, Tom. So that could be kind of exciting. And as I said, we're all so small. The city's talking about, positions that will help give someone the task of working on these things. There's so much data, and who's got time to pull it together and then use it to make decisions that are database research driven.
Are we going to do, a regular,
I'm going to pare that agenda down, so that's primarily what we're doing. Yep.
You said a couple of different dates, want
It'll
to make sure you meant this, the 26th is when you're doing it.
You just said the 20th.
I did say the 20th. That's our next regular meeting. It would be the 26th is the next
Okay.
work session.
Just want
Thank
to
you.
make sure.
Yeah, the ears in the mouth don't always put in.
That's all right, just,
Tuesday, the 26th?
It's
No.
Monday, the 26th is the work session. Tuesday, the 20th is our next regular meeting.
Due to
Next
the
week,
holiday.
we meet
No, I
Tuesday
was just
due to the
making sure.
holiday.
I got
The work session's the 26th, right? So anyway, that all I think is kind of exciting. I won't even hint at what you're going to hear and learn, but it's pretty exciting.
So did we get the copy of this survey or anything we go look at before?
I'm not sure on the rec. For some reason, I know Mel and I talked about that should be distributed in advance. I will have to follow up. You didn't get that, obviously.
Did you get it?
I will distribute that electronically. I don't know how many pages that is. The other one is not in its final draft yet that Trevor's working on. Remember, we have 2 weeks. And we'll make sure you get that one too. I think the rec plan is about 62 pages. And the...
62 pages on the computer, I gotta read.
You can print it and then read them if you want.
And you can print on both sides.
Hey Bernie, just a quick little fun fact. I know you were sharing some of the analytic things from the Adirondack site. Earlier this summer, Bill Shatner, the myth, the man, the legend of Captain Kirk, actually tweeted out about the Adirondack coast and the Battle of Plattsburgh. What's kind of unique and interesting about that, from a web perspective, he has about 2 million followers on Twitter that went out to.
Wow.
So it's interesting, the presence of the web can have, in interlocking with social media and website development, and even our own website as we continue to try to develop services for people to go to, but information is critical nowadays.
Maybe we need a Facebook page and a Twitter page.
I think we should look into some of those developments.
I'm just not the guy to do it. I'll friend it. Somebody puts it together.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, you gotta be in the game. It may or may not do everything for everybody, but you've got to be in the game. And we're getting in it. We've made a lot of progress. As I look at some things that are happening regionally, I had a conversation with Allison Carey today at some length, and you kind of want to look at the why. It's chicken and egg. Does it happen and then we do these things, or does it happen because we did these things? And how much can we afford to invest to hope business follows? Do you develop a site for business to come in and build? Or when business comes and says we want, do you then, Paul will address some of that. The development corporation's out of spec buildings. It's a good problem to have. But now the problem is, how much can they invest in spec buildings that are just that? Now we wait. A lot of issues, but those are the things we should be talking about.
I think part of the way that they have filled their parks is they have had the buildings.
Mhm.
If you don't have the buildings, you don't have, period. When these people decide they want to move, in many cases, it's a pretty quick move. They're sitting up there and all of a sudden it's like, well, you contact those people and find out what they've got, and then contact those other people and find out what they've got. And if Plattsburgh hasn't got something, they're going someplace else.
And Paul has told us many times, site selection happens and nobody ever goes to the site. They grab the demographics offline, off the web pages, and if it doesn't look like you've got what they want, you'll never know they look, which is sad. But it's a good problem to have, but it's a problem. Now, I think you all know, we've had some conversations with the Development Corporation about some proposed property that they want to buy, so they can begin to do just that. Construction is so expensive, they'd rather come in and have some lease property. If it works, then they'll move on to construction, and then you vacate that for the next, incubator, if you will. So the next work session, which I believe is Monday the 26th, we're going to have some guests and some presentations and lots of information. I will work to see that you get all that in advance. I just gave you another item that didn't make it. It's breaking news late this afternoon. We need to do some ZBA appointments. We need to first appoint another regular full-time member. The full-time regular members receive a 5-year term, alternates get a 3-year. I solicited some options. We wanted for balance in the town to find someone to come, that would come and sit from the Cliff Haven area. Mr. Black, I got that mistake right there. I'm looking at Mr. Rogers, I guess, my last resolve. Roger Black has not only indicated an interest, after a couple of conversations has said he'd be pleased to serve. He was planning on coming to Wednesday's board meeting just to observe. we can pass this. You have a letter of support from Mr. Imoff. We can pass this next Monday, or I suppose you could choose to pass this evening and give him an opportunity to take an oath and participate this week. I indicated to him, if everyone concurred, that it would be on the agenda for next week, next Tuesday. And if people got excited, wanted to do it sooner, that was always an option.
I think it's worthwhile, having been a former member of the ZBA, I think it's important to keep that board full of its members, and I personally would like to see this move forward so that if anybody needs to go before, that we don't slow that process down any further.
I agree with Michael saying, I know Roger Black, he's an accomplished professional. One of the things you mentioned, coming from the Cliff Haven area, we've had a problem in that we haven't had representation from that southern end of the town, and a person from there would meet that, would help with that issue. Roger is he's an amateur historian, has quite a love of glass negatives, and he's the person who put together, he does a marvelous presentation about the old Catholic summer school that was where Cliff Haven now exists, and he came into possession of those glass negatives of that facility, and now has a series of glass negatives that Clinton County Historical Association had in their possession, and he's working on those to bring those photographs back into circulation. And he has got the idea that, could be one of the things that might just, spruce up a lot of businesses in the community if they were to take those old photographs and put them in their stores and, show the connection between what used to be in that location and what is in that location today, that type of thing. But anyways, I think Roger he'll be an excellent member to the ZBA.
Do they automatically get a copy of the comprehensive land use plan and codes?
I can't answer that question, not by me, they might by the department.
Well, I think they
In
need
this
it.
training, et cetera.
If you're gonna make decisions,
Probably.
you really need to know what the comprehensive land use plan is and what the codes are.
Mhm. If nothing
It's
else, it's
supposed
all
to be
on,
driven by that, and that's what's supposed to be.
if
our-
nothing else,
our
it's all
codes.
online.
Well, I'm not saying that people aren't good being on there, I'm just saying that we should strongly recommend that they go through these types of things.
He can handle the online stuff. He runs the website for the press and public.
And one of the beauties with staggered terms, you don't have a complete changeover where that information wouldn't be in the majority of the minds and hearts of those serving. What I heard was a suggestion that we act on this evening. Is there any other discussion about that? If not, I look back through the minutes, I believe the next resolution number would be 31. And as long as this is in front of us, we could mark this 31. Jackie, you've got a copy. So we would have resolution 31, Tom's verifying that for me. The appointment of Roger Black as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I would just note, Jackie, the last resolve, please make that Mr. Black.
I see that.
In each instance.
Mr. Rich.
Are you ready?
We are ready.
Okay. Resolution number
31.
31, okay. Appointment of Roger Black as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Whereas a vacancy exists on the Town of Plattsburgh Zoning Board of Appeals for a full-time member, and whereas Roger Black, a resident of the Town of Plattsburgh, is willing to serve as a full-time member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, therefore be it resolved that as per local law number 1 of 1999, and with the attached letter of recommendation of Stephen Imhoff, Codes Enforcement Department head, the town board does hereby appoint Mr. Black to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 5-year term to expire December 31st, 2019. And be it further resolved that Mr. Black take an oath of office within 30 days of this appointment, and a copy of this resolution be given to the ZBA Board Chairperson, Mr. Black, and to Steve M. Hoff, Department Head.
A motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, second, Mr.
Second.
Mannix. Any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cashman,
Yes.
Meg LaFave,
Yes.
Bernard Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. I think that's a wise move. I will let him know, and also let him know that he does need to get in for his oath, and he could serve as soon as this Wednesday. That's my items, even with the end of my additions. We have some minutes, Tom, you indicated there may be some corrections, are those things we
No,
need to
minutes are-
share, or just tell me later? Minutes are fine, good. As
Well, according to me, they are. I don't know, somebody else might have found something.
you've been
Nobody
given
else looks
that
down.
responsibility, Tom,
Yeah,
I'm sure you
does.
Well, you missed one, Tom,
Yeah. You missed one.
the date on
Come on.
the drug and alcohol testing that was,
Yeah, it's on the table.
No, that's not,
it was tabled.
Yes,
it's not, that's what I got circled here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
This is, for now,
Okay.
that one was tabled,
Oh,
so
okay. So
I thought it
doesn't-
would be redone, but it wasn't. So it still says January
Yeah.
1st, 2013.
Right,
I got that down.
okay.
Let's try those, yeah.
I tried again, tried again.
Jackie's pretty sharp, maybe it wouldn't need me, I think.
we have a resolution that was tabled, number 26, drug and alcohol testing program agreement. We do now have the agreement, you were given copies of that, I believe, at least you should have it. And with that said, we need to
Well,
bring it
Yeah,
back to the table.
Can you change the date? To January 1st,
50.
2015 instead of
50.
13?
Yep,
You did?
it's changed now.
So that we don't have to amend it when we...
Well, okay,
Okay.
so we can go ahead and read that.
Okay, drug and alcohol testing program agreement. Whereas the town of Plattsburgh desires to implement a drug and alcohol program according to the U.S. Department of Transportation Highway Administration for current and prospective employees of the town who are required to have a commercial driver's license, CDL, and operate a commercial vehicle as stated in federal regulations and all others as per New York State law and town policy. And whereas Industrial Med Testing located at 220 Tom Miller Road, Plattsburgh, New York, operates an occupational medicine service for the performance of drug and alcohol testing services to employers and other organizations. And whereas the town of Plattsburgh desires to contract with Industrial Med Testing to provide such services to the employees of the town of Plattsburgh. And whereas the term of this agreement shall be for 1 year commencing on January 1st, 2015, and Industrial Med Testing shall provide the services set forth in the contract attached hereto and made a part hereof by reference therefore, be it resolved that the supervisor be approved to enter into the attached agreement with Med Testing, and a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, designated employer representatives, Industrial Med, and Cool Insurance.
A motion,
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Cashman, any discussion?
The only thing I looked at the agreement itself, it didn't say anything about term or termination that I could see. I mean, it's not a terrible word, I know,
We pay them per incident. So if we don't send anybody to them, we're not paying them. That would be a termination.
The resolution itself that has the date wouldn't make a difference.
No, I mean, this is the agreement, and not, I think as Bernie said, it's not a big deal, just pointing it out. We sometimes have in our agreements, we indicate that it's for 1 year and we'll have the right to cancel it.
There's no exclusivity,
Okay, don't worry about it.
okay? Any other discussion?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cashman,
Yes.
Meg LaFave,
Yes.
and Bernard Bassett.
Yes, resolution's carried. We've used them for a number of years,
Yeah,
we're just
no,
down the
but-
road, so it's
I know.
quite successful.
Yep.
Next, we have a series of drafts, as I usually like to do. I'll point a couple things out. In the, and again, I'm picking up on the lack of draft over these. We know there are X's, but that, I don't know about you, but it helps me when I see one that has a draft. In the agreement, Mr. Coffey had a couple of suggestions, which I haven't edited into the agreement yet. One is that in the first paragraph, we have the agreement by and between the town and appraisal services. He suggested that we add Mr. Cromie's name, totally agree. So I will insert in that first paragraph, near appraisal services, Lawrence D. Cromie, DBA Appraisal Services. And Mr. Coffey also suggested, as he just did, the escape clause, termination. This is the same sort of thing. If we don't give him work to do, he doesn't get paid. But
I would like to change the date. I don't know if it's correct or not. Are we still doing price service in accordance with March 18th, 2013? Is it still the same? I don't know if that's supposed to be 2008,
well, we had
2013 or supposed to be.
no, we had a proposal from him in 2013, so we're referencing that as the structure by which this will, be following.
Okay.
The other change at the bottom, there's a town of Plattsburgh shall have the right to stop work or terminate the contract. I would insert after the word contract at any time or point. Gives us carte blanche. I would also add a letter C in that item where we talk about the right to terminate the contract at any time or point. I would also add a C that one of the other conditions for termination would be when the service is no longer needed or desired. You concur with that, sir? So we will get those additions put in the agreement. And again, we've worked with Mr. Cromie for a while. He's really provided a good service and helped us keep up with those assessments. That would be in the agenda with the revisions as indicated. You have a site plan return. I just haven't drafted a resolution yet. You have a request
Will
to...
you be giving us another copy then with the changes? Or
Yes, oh yeah, you'll get another copy with the changes, absolutely. If you don't, call Debbie. Next is a draft request to attend annual code enforcement.
Yeah, we've got to change the date. Are those the correct dates too?
Well, I don't think it's
Yeah.
March 2013.
Yeah.
March 2, 3, 4, and 5. That doesn't look right either. None of those dates are right.
Well, because this resolution was just cut and paste, and
Yep.
it's got the dates from 2013,
Yeah.
March 4th to 7th. So I think we need to change
Shouldn't be
that
January 5 either.
to March 2nd to 5th. I'm assuming that's what it is, but I suppose you better check that too.
Well, that's what's in the letter, March 2 through 5, 2015. We will update that. Yep. The
And-
amount seems to be correct.
Well, is the amount, is that for two people or one person?
Well, and I would agree with Tom slightly because last year, several of the staff were planning on going to conferences and the materials that they kept submitting were off with dates and amounts and stuff like that. So it's really important that that information comes together.
We don't have the request affixed to this either, so,
You know, we usually get a breakdown of
Right, you'll have that.
transportation, food,
yeah, you'll have that
Lodging
for the
fees.
resolution. About all apparently the time to get this put in was to give you a heads up it's coming.
Okay, so there'll be a few changes on those then.
Well, and the request is key. If we don't see that, we don't know what they're going to do and truly
Right.
what the cost breakdown is. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, because I don't know if this is one or two people.
Yeah, I believe it's 2,
Okay.
but I haven't seen the request either, so I don't know.
Well, I know it's usually a bargain
I think,
compared to what they have to do
yeah.
normally.
See, that this is a March, but you have to reserve your place in advance, so we kind of said, let's get the thing in queue. But it was a little premature without much information. Monthly department reports, I'm assuming you got copies of the ones we had at the time of printing. This is going to take, I think, just a little time to get everybody in sync.
Are you going to have a resolution for that?
This is going to be done with the singular resolution that we adopted based on your recommendation.
I think you don't have a copy here, but that's what's going to.
Correct. Correct. And the key with that, I think that could be good, is it will be easier to see who's got a report and who hasn't, because we never had a resolution without a report. Now we're gonna have a resolution,
Yeah.
so, yeah, a little accountability built in.
Are these gonna be posted on the website?
They weren't posted? Yes.
I think Nels was.
I know she got some late,
I think,
you know, you
yeah, I
get,
think there was Nels.
I heard people rolling in today, oh, I've got my report. And we'll get more before next Monday. So we better just post, I talked to Debbie about just posting all them when we put up the final
There
agenda.
was a planning
Even
one
if you
too,
put them in
big
before,
long-
drag them back in, you know?
There was a big long planning one, a lot of stuff that they.
Yeah, 2-pager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So duly noted.
And
Yep.
all of the reports have the date on them that they're going to be for December or for the year, except for water and wastewater, which doesn't have a date except the date it was submitted, I think. And also, on the town clerk, it says monthly report on both of them, but the one from January 1st, 2014, December 31st is the year's report, so it should be yearly. Town clerk's yearly report.
You're talking about page 3.
What's that?
You're talking about page 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's on. Oh, actually, yeah. that would be good.
Well, you look at the
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I don't usually edit department reports. Sometimes it's awful hard. It's what they
But
write.
when it comes to
Whatever they
yearly,
wr's what you get.
If it's yearly or not, I mean, that should be.
I agree. I made a note. Totally agree.
It's easy to make a mistake, the dates are correct, it just says monthly report because everything always comes out that.
Where's the one he was talking about in the clerks?
It says January 1st to 2014, December 31st, 2014.
Just at the very top,
Yeah,
it should say yearly.
it's the heading. No, not this one. It's,
The one that's yearly.
Ah, that's the years. Yep. It says January through December. It says monthly. You know, Ricky and I talked about that before. Is that a problem?
No,
Maybe you can fix it tomorrow. So it won't be a problem. Water, wastewater, we need to know what it's for. Okay. Got it. Then we have the Association of Towns. We first need a resolution authorizing sending some folks to go, which we have.
When we go through this, we're gonna be able to comment on these reports next time, right?
yeah, as we've always have.
I don't have to do it here.
Please.
I just correct it. Minor.
Yep. Whatever comments you want to make on those. Then we have the association, we'll have the appointment of a delegate, which we discussed earlier. And a resolution we discussed earlier for the side agreement with the union. And the resolution for amending the dog licensing law. That's going to take a little more process. We will not have that on the agenda, for the Board of Ethics, rather. We won't have that one on the agenda because we're going to either amend the law or
No,
supersede it.
we're gonna pass one, we're gonna pass a new law and send the old one.
Within that resolution, we can pass the new and rescind the old, or do you need a resolution to rescind first?
No, I think we're
Do
gonna.
it all at once?
Yeah.
Do you have any templates for that?
I think we did it once for something else, I'll take a look.
Have to have a public hearing.
We'll have to,
Yeah.
probably that'd be the first thing we have to do in that, is
Okay.
schedule the public hearing before we can adopt it.
That's a good
Yep. That's my agenda. Anyone have anything else for the evening?
Clay's done.
That was not me, Tom.
Next week,
So,
next week we'll be able to discuss some things after the voting, right? If we want to.
Business as
At the
usual.
regular meeting? I don't know what you're leading up to.
Well, if I have a report or something, I can
Oh,
bring
from a
that.
bazillion years ago.
Sure. Are you thinking about the oil train one?
Well, that and some others, but the difference is that since the next meeting, which is what I was thinking of bringing up, is gonna be a seminar, and we don't want all
You're
those
talking about
extra
the
things.
next work session.
Well, no, I don't wanna bring it up next work session, because you told me we're having a seminar and we're
Well-
having all this other stuff.
You can still talk at the work session, I'm just saying, that's gonna be, the majority will be those presentations. Yeah, you can still talk at that,
We're not
absolutely.
gonna have a gag rule or anything like that?
I don't know if they can do that, I mean, I'll go to the Association of Towns and figure it out,
You have to
I'll
see-
check with them to see.
You have to save your voice.
You can't have a gag rule on.
Tom, the stuff on the work session, Tom, that, under supervisor's report, I will work hard to only have those 3 visitors under there. So, that's all I'm
not-
contributing.
yeah, It wouldn't be a big thing, but. I'm hoping
All
to
right,
have a
if there's nothing else, we're going to adjourn. Can you see that? At 8:20, all in favor indicate so by saying aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.